What's going on, community? Another big week here in PulseChain. It's been crazy the beginning of the year. We've been seeing all the sack wallet movements, price pumping, absolute madness, right? So let's get into a couple of the topics. So overall in the market, there's a couple of big events real quick to kind of kick off. One is the Grayscale Bitcoin discount. Now, it typically rolls in a premium in the bull run. And usually when you see that flip, it's one of those big market sentiment movers that you're actually seeing, this actually flip and turn into the bull run. So that now is at a low since the previous bull run. It's at 0.27 discount. It's a multi-year low for the discount. Again, it's a little tricky there on the terminology, but that is, again, it's a big one. It's been highlighted by a lot of big guys. RH talked about it in the past. It's something I pay a lot of attention to, especially with the recent Bitcoin ETFs and seeing a lot of that inflow there. So that getting close to zero and going back to a premium is another one of those, spicy heating up in the market, big indicators that we'll see. The other one was the Coinbase case. Now, this was an extremely long oral argument that went on. The biggest thing is the judge was on point. She was very, very knowledgeable on DeFi. She was knowledgeable on previous cases. The amicus briefs that had been filed by a few members of Congress and others.
What is the conduct about which the commission complains? Precisely what it is that you believe Coinbase is doing as to each that runs afoul of the securities laws. But you've made mention of the uniqueness of it. I'd like to understand why I should care. If what you're arguing is that Coinbase is somehow, by providing these intermediation services, violating the securities laws, that the actual token issuers are themselves violating the securities laws, is that correct?
Not exactly, Your Honor.
Okay. What is it about the issuance of these tokens? What is it about these tokens that brings them within Howey? And for you to say, will they satisfy Howey, is not a helpful answer to me. What is it about them? And please don't say Howey. What is it about them that you believe makes them securities? Thank you.
Absolutely outstanding for crypto. Again, she has not ruled from the bench, which, again, that's pretty uncommon in those types of cases. So we'll likely see something 30, 60 days, but it was extremely bullish. She laid out a lot of arguments that were very, very pro-crypto. She pushed back constantly on the SEC. Now, she did as well on Coinbase, but it was, again, she was very, very knowledgeable and brought in a lot of heat. And I think that we're looking forward to a very pro-crypto ruling, especially around the terms like investment contract. That's something I've highlighted before. And again, just the overall market on securities and bringing up the major questions doctrine about whether or not the SEC can actually, legislate and govern these things. So big news there. I think both those things are really big. And then in the space, obviously, RH has been pretty active here recently. He's been tweeting more often. It's really, really cool to see. And again, when he's talking about price, we're seeing big green candles. Now, even though we've sort of retraced, I think that what we've seen now is that we sort of set a higher low. I know you guys know I'm not a big TA guy, but sort of seeing, the big run, seeing a pullback that's healthy and us not kind of going back and retracing at some of those levels that are below sack rate. I think that's a big deal. So that's really, really positive to move through. Loan's been doing something similar. We're seeing it, again, USDL still 27 plus million minted, triple digit TVL as far as what's going on with LL. And then we do have a couple of cool announcements there. So on Dex Screener, we now have gone through and now you can see our logos next to the ticker symbols, which is kind of cool. And we actually went through, worked with them on updating like the lot contracts and emissions from Stability Pool and things like that. So now that market cap is a much more digestible number and more accurate for where we're actually at. A lot of people have been asking about it. The guys over at Crypto Bubbles, we got everything integrated there. So now we got our little loan bubble. Pretty cool to see. And we've got a lot of other listings we're moving through. So we're seeing more and more and more growth there. Obviously, the DeFi Llama was a big one. Now, the DeFi Llama, obviously, we want to see all the cool stuff for L, but PulseChain, right? You got to take care of Mother Bear, right? So where we were really excited about the addition of LL on DeFi Llama was that it added all of our big metrics onto PulseChain. So PulseChain jumped up in a lot of the rankings. And then because of everything going on recently, it's been really high up on trading volume as well. So it's really done a good thing for the chain. Big volume, big TVL, big green candles. These are all great marketing tools, right? They sell a lot better than I do. I promise that. So the week has been really, really strong. We're seeing growth everywhere. We're still looking really close to having a lot more protocols come out pretty soon. So guys, I mean, again, I think everybody's about as bullish as they can be. We're seeing, good movement when it comes to the U.S. jurisdiction. We're seeing a lot of indicators starting to be on that edge of flipping to, full on bull market. We've set higher lows, moving up in the ecosystem pretty much across the board. We've got more coming, guys. It is a killer week. You guys know I like a lot of the legal insights and seeing how these things are going to play out. So that's pretty interesting, especially something that Nuclear Herbs highlighted. Senator Loomis is the one who actually filed that amicus brief, and seeing them get more and more involved there, I think is a big deal. We're seeing them push back on Gary as well. So I'm excited. I like all that stuff. I like seeing what's kind of going on in the macro space. I've been doing a little research recently, like the M2 supply, and seeing how that correlates. So I'll probably drop a little of that this week. But guys, higher lows means we're closer to higher highs. Everything's ripping. The LL is doing fantastic. PulseChain's pushing. We're getting listed more and more places. I will catch y'all next week. Let's go.